Hello, peeps. Welcome back to another exciting episode. I think this one's going to be pretty good because although by the time we're kind of batching podcast episodes, so by the time this comes out, this may be old news, but right now, oh my gosh, the uproar of the Harrison Butker commencement speech at a Catholic college has just stirred up so much controversy. And since it was about motherhood, I was like, oh, well, there's a subject for me. So, question, what did you think about that speech? It's all over the news, social media. Everyone has a passionate opinion about it. If you live under a rock, you may not have heard this, but let me go through the whole thing. It's the age-old debate, like, are we more fulfilled being a mom, a stay-at-home mom, or are our careers as women more important than staying home? I'm not going to debate his speech as much, not directly, because I think that conversation is larger than what he said. But let's just discuss, and let me go through the beginning. So in case you live under a rock and you haven't heard about this commencement speech and who he is, we'll just go through some history. So I've watched Harrison Butker be praised and vilified this week. So he is a football player. He's a kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. And he gave an impassioned commencement speech at a Catholic college. His teammate is Patrick Mahomes. And while not agreeing with everything that he said, Patrick is standing by his teammate and saying, like, I understand. Like, he agreed on some points. I agree. Me too. People wanted him fired. They wanted to cancel him, which I just think is so funny because it's like nobody said this is gospel. Like you have to listen and do what he's saying. Just because you don't agree with it doesn't make him a horrible person. I feel like nobody can have a different opinion of anything now. I mean, there's people I see on social media or wherever, television, that are, protesting this or they're against this or they're for this. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really agree with that. Do I hate them or vilify them? No, like we can have conversations, and I would hope so. We can have conversations with people and go, really, that's not how I'm going to live my life. I don't agree with you, but good for you. Go do you. But it's so funny how I feel like people can get on a grandstand and talk about the most controversial subjects, but whenever you talk about the nuclear family, Christianity, motherhood, those kind of things, people get so fired up as if what that person says, if you don't agree with it, need to be hung on a stake. Like get them out of here. Don't let them talk. And I'm like, this is his opinion, and this is how him and his wife want to live their life. Good for them. That doesn't mean it's for everybody, and that doesn't mean you have to get angry at him about it. I just find it funny that people get really passionate when we talk about motherhood or Christianity or stay-at-home moms. Like people get very, very critical. So I just want to talk about motherhood, the stay-at-home mom versus the career mom. Oh, Lordy B. I've had this conversation with so many women over the years. And is this the most rewarding job on earth? Or so he said. Yeah. So I was a stay-at-home mom. I also have worked part-time in like an MLM. I worked for a kitchen tool company and did that for 15 years while I raised the girls so that I could be home with them. I was trying to find the best of both worlds, be home with them, and then once or twice a week go out and do these kitchen presentations, selling these tools. And then the rest of the time I could be on the phone while they're at school, or when they were little, I would put stuff on the floor so they could play while I was on the phone. And I was trying to find that balance of like, what's the perfect thing? Now, things have shifted a little bit. I even have Christian friends that live in different states, and they are so much about family and how their daughters are staying home with the babies, and how that's the only way and that's the way God intended it, and all of these really, really rigid kind of thought processes. And while I understand where they're coming from, I'm just going to say this: Harrison Butker makes a lot of money, so his wife can stay home. Harrison Butker is also a white man in a, like, considered a middle class family. We leave out a lot of different scenarios when we make those kind of statements of the best thing you can ever do is stay home with your kids. I was lucky enough that Mike was making enough money. We weren't making a lot of money, but enough money where we could budget. And I've talked about this before. More than half my paycheck was going to daycare. And I was like, what is the point of me working when we're not even, this isn't extra money. We're like pouring all the money into daycare so that we can work, so that what? Like, I'm not understanding. And I actually wanted to stay home because my mom was a single mom that had to work. So this is the thing, is when you make these blanket statements of like, the most fulfilling job you'll ever have is being a mother, I'm like, that would be nice if that could be so in every household. But you're leaving out a whole demographic of people that's not possible. If you're a single mom, you can't stay at home. If you live in a rural area, if you're in what they consider the hood or the slums, and everyone's just trying to survive, you can't stay at home. You have to work. And that doesn't mean you don't love your children. And it doesn't mean that you're less of a mom. So I have an issue with people making blanket statements of like, this is the only job you should ever have. Also, when you are at a college and these poor girls have just gotten a whole education and you're like, the best job you're ever going to have is being a mom. It's kind of like throwing out your education. Yes, you will be educated to be able to teach your children. Totally get that. But also, these girls are just starting out. They may not want to get married right away. They may not want to be a mom right away. It doesn't make them less of a person, and it doesn't mean that their life isn't fulfilling. God places us in different areas where we don't know where we're going. He knows where we're going. Mother Teresa was never a mom, and she was one of the most impassioned. People still quote her books and her speeches and things to this day. It's not up to us to decide what is the holy grail of our life. And that is what it's become, is these women are like, the most holiest work you can do is be a mom. And I'm like, that's great. What if you can't be a mom? What if you can't give birth? Yes, you can adopt. Yes, you can do. But there are just different scenarios that I think we have to, be kind of more compassionate and kind to when we're talking about motherhood being the end all be all. It is the only thing I ever wanted to do was be a mom. So I get this speech. I'm like, yes, I want to be a mom. Also, I had great depression when I was a young mom, and I didn't get to talk to anyone about that. So that was not the most rewarding time in my life. Like, there were times where I was like, I hate this motherhood so bad. I'm being honest in that. I'm like, this sucks. Like, I don't know what to do with these feelings, and I don't know what to do with these kids, and I don't have a mom to go and play off these feelings to. So I sat in silence for many years, crying on the ground many nights when these kids were like babies, and it was hard, and they didn't sleep, and they had colic, and they had this and they had that, and all these different things. And I remember looking back and thinking like, man, motherhood was the best thing I ever did, and it was the hardest thing I ever did. So when you look at and a man telling you that it's, oh, my wife just loves it. I'm like, I would like to sit with her for a little bit and say, I'm sure it's probably a beautiful life you have. But are there moments when you're like, yeah, this isn't fulfilling? Cleaning up poopy diapers for the 18th time that day because, little Johnny has stomach flu or whatever. Those are not fulfilling days. They're not rewarding. And we have to stop pretending like every part of motherhood is this beautiful, fulfilling, godly thing that we're just doing the most important work in the world. Can we just give working moms some honor too? Because they're doing double duty. My oldest daughter tried staying home with her kids, and she's decided she's a better mom if she works because she can fully use her brain power. She said, I felt like my brain was like just disappearing when I'm sitting at home watching whatever show or playing blocks with them or whatever it was they were doing for the umpteenth time. She said, I need more stimulation than that. Now for me, I didn't. I needed a little bit of stimulation. That's why the MLMs worked, because you could work at your own pace, set your own schedule. That worked for me because my brain can't handle too many things at once. So me working, I worked the first 3 years with Ariel, and then I worked 8 months until Dominique was 8 months old, and I was like falling asleep at my computer. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do both. So some people can, some people can't, and some people don't have a choice. Hey peeps, I'm so happy to share a healthy way that I have found to get my bread options. I saw this wild grain ad everywhere and I had to try it. It's been such a great company to get delicious croissants, chocolate ones too, sourdough breads, and brioche buns. They also carry fresh pasta and cookie dough for those of you who still eat sweets. It is all fresh and then frozen, so when you need a loaf of sourdough or any kind of bread for your dinner, you just pop it in the oven and you have freshly baked bread ready to enjoy. If you want to give it a try, click the link below to get $20 off your membership. Enjoy! So I think we need to kind of look at this in a broader perspective. Yes, motherhood is probably one of the most amazing things that I've ever done in my life, but also I think it has been at times one of the most loneliest things that I've ever done in my life. It's really hard being a mom, and I think that it's easy to say, my wife is so happy and she's so fulfilled being a mom, when you have a lot of things around you that can make your life easy. But when you're a mom who is struggling day in and day out because there's just a lot of things in your life that are not going well, then the guilt of not feeling like you're enough, that you should be happier being a mom, you should be satisfied when you're just trying to make ends meet, you're trying to keep all the balls in the air. I just want to say to those moms, you are amazing and you're doing a great job, and your kids will thank you way later down the road, but I honor you too. So I don't think it should be a one-handed, I understand where he was coming from, but I don't think it should be a one-handed kind of statement that's just a stereotype statement for everybody across the board. Like everybody should be a mom and everyone, that's your most important job. Don't worry about your career kind of thing. It's like you don't know why God is placing you in different places. God may place you in a career that you're going to help others there too. We're not just mommies that are raising children. It's a bigger thing than that. It is very fulfilling and it's very lonely. And so I think we have to be respectful of both sides. We've had this debate for so long. I've had friends that worked and I would stay at home and they're like, what do you do all day? Very disrespectful and dismissive. When their life changed and there was different things going on, they were like, oh, you do a lot at home. I'm like, yeah, I do a lot at home for my kids. And also I'm the mom that's picking up your kids from school because you can't make it back because you're working. And so we can do this together as a team. It is the one thing I want to mention is that when you're a mom, you shouldn't be a mom by yourself, especially if you come from a place where your own mom isn't available. You need that community. And so be respectful of each other's places. If you're a working mom and you're trying to juggle all the things and you see someone struggling in that, and you're a stay-at-home mom and you've got an extra space in your car to help carpool, or you know that you can make like an extra dinner for somebody, like let's help each other out. Let's not vilify or shame women for not being in the godly place that you think that that's going to put you on a pedestal of motherhood because you do all the things. You're the stay-at-home mom. It's the most rewarding job. Like nothing else in the world matters but that. But there's women out there that have to work. Why don't we help them instead of making them feel lesser than? Also, for working moms, there's things you can help with them. Maybe you can help them with their finances if you're in that industry. Maybe you can help them with other things of your knowledge. We can work together where all of those things are fulfilling and also God-driven, because God's put you in those positions to help in different ways. And so my whole thing with this conversation is, can we please stop separating working moms and stay-at-home moms and just say we're all moms helping each other, and one is not better than the other. Nobody is better because they have a degree and that they're going out and doing something, any more than no one is better being a stay-at-home mom and saying my job's more important than yours because I'm raising the future. We don't know how our kids are going to turn out. Believe me, for many years I was like, oh, did I do this right? I don't know, these kids, but I can say they turned out well. But challenges, right? So I don't think we need to take what Harrison Butker said and like vilify him, and I also don't think we need to put him on a pedestal and say this is the program and this is the model of what every woman should do. I think we should take it, look at it, and go, yeah, he's got some good points. I understand where he's coming from. Also, he's somebody who has wealth and he is a white man. And he has a wife that can comfortably live at home and be okay with that. And I hope he would be respectful if she said, hey, I want to work. Like, I need to get out of the house. Also, your kids go to school at some point. And so, you have to find things that satisfy you, that bring you joy. It could be anything. Doesn't have to be a high-powered job, but your kids will leave at some point. Who are you after you're a mom? You're always a mom first, but you're also many other things. So let's not peg each other into the motherhood sainthood of like, that's the end all be all of who you are. We are many things. God has made us, beautiful beings where we can help in many different ways. We're not one linear thing. You're not just a mom. Not that that's a bad thing. It's a great thing. I love being a stay-at-home mom. I love being a mom. It's amazing. But I also love being here and doing this and doing different things that can help other people too, and also put me in a place where I feel confident about myself as a person. So that is all I have to say about this episode. Be kind to people, be kind to moms, be kind to non-moms. Just be kind to women, and wherever we are in these situations, just have good conversations and know that your walk is not necessarily the walk of the next gal coming up beside you, or a friend that you have, or a relative, and be respectful of that and know that we're all in this together, and God has a plan for all of us, and we do not know what that plan is, and nor do we have the right to tell someone else what that plan is. So until next time, I will talk to you later. Bye, peeps.